Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to another doll ranking video. Today we're going to be taking a look at and ranking all of the Monster High characters, which might sound a little bit too familiar. I promise I'm not redoing an old video. I mean specifically the characters, like not at all their designs. I've done videos ranking literally every single Monster High character when it comes to their designs and their dolls and stuff like that. But I did just recently finish watching all of the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Monster High media that I could physically force myself to sit through because some of it is a little bit questionable. I'm working on the G3 media, and so I thought it would be fun to rank the characters according to like them as characters, like not taking into account the visuals whatsoever, but just do I like the character? Do I not like the character? That sort of thing. I thought that might be like a fun, slightly different way to rank these, and I thought it would be a fun exercise for me to do and hopefully something that y'all will enjoy as well. Really quick, if you didn't see my last video where I did an unboxing of I'm literally already forgetting the name, the Monster Fest Cleo from G3, because I know like my unboxings are not the most popular videos on my channel, which is chill, but just that means that some people might have missed it. The short version of what you need to know is that my one cat can now get into the doll room, and for now there's nothing that I can do about that. So if you hear her, or if she jumps up on here, or if I'm like leaning around to pet her, I am sorry. I quite literally can't stop her at this point in time, so hopefully it won't be too distracting for y'all. But anyway, let's get back to what we actually need to be getting to. The only other thing that I have to say, actually I lied, two things. One, I just recently dyed my hair. If it looks funky or you can see purple splotches on my skin, don't say anything. I don't want to hear. But more importantly, these are just my opinions as per usual with this channel. So if I say that I really dislike a character that you're in love with, that's fine. Like you are absolutely allowed to like that character, and it's nothing personal against you. We just have differences of opinion, which is totally chill. So I finally think that's everything that I need to say. Let's go ahead and get started on the ranking. Alrighty, so as per usual, I am using Procreate for this ranking, and the tiers that I have today are my favorite, love them, they're chill, barely present, because I do feel like there are so many characters from Monster High that like just didn't have enough presence in the show or whatever to really let me know whether I cared about them or not. No, and then low-key hate them. So that should be fun. Also, I'm not including literally every single character because there are like some background characters or like the teachers that like have names and technically I could include. I'm just not, like that's too many, and frankly I don't have any particular criteria for who I included versus who I didn't. I kind of just put this together. I don't even know how my own brain works, so like sorry if that bothers y'all, but we're just gonna get started. So starting off with Abby. Oh, this is already so hard. Why did I make the first one so hard? I love Abby. If you saw any of my media reviews of me like watching the old Gen 1 media, I think that she was consistently one of the only characters that like never bothered me. Like I just felt like she was actually smart and funny in every situation instead of acting like an idiot. Like she was just a wonderful presence to have on screen. I'm debating whether I should put her in my favorite or love them. And I think that she honestly deserves to go in my favorite. Like Abby was such a ray of sunshine in the darkest moments of some of those movies. So like I have to give her credit. Then we have Claudine, and I feel like I don't have any super strong feelings about her if I'm being honest. Like I definitely didn't dislike Claudine as a character in the films. I just don't feel like I bonded that much with her either, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't a diehard Claudine fan. I just like she was chill. So I feel like I kind of have to put her in there chill. Then we have Cleo, okay? And I love Cleo's designs all the time. I loved her designs in Gen 1, even G2. Like I think she's got some good dolls. G3, she's killing it. However, as a character, she's like not my favorite. I mean, she is meant to be a little bit more, for lack of a better term, like a bitchy than a lot of the other characters. She's meant to be kind of a mean girl, and that's fine. Like I do think that that type of character has a place in storytelling. Like I don't think that's a bad character trope, if that makes sense. But that's just not the character that, with the case of Monster High, I ended up latching onto. I didn't hate her, but I didn't love her, so I feel like she's gonna go in there chill with Claudine. Then we have Deuce, and I actually really did enjoy him. I feel like in general, the Mansters did not get like as much attention or characterization on screen as the girl characters did, which like I assume is just because the girls are A, the main characters, but B, also the dolls that they're making the most, so like they want them to be on screen the most. But when he was on screen, I feel like he was such a chill dude, literally constantly. Sometimes he made some bad decisions, sometimes he acted kind of like an idiot, but like who doesn't sometimes, right? But I just feel like he was a good, supportive person, and I think he's going to go into love them. I feel like he was a really solid character, and I don't have any complaints that I can think of right now. Oh my god, okay. Dracula is so difficult. Oh, I'm stumbling on my words already, and I haven't even gotten started talking about her. I have talked about this on a few occasions, but I feel like from movie to movie, Dracula is characterized in very different ways. And specifically, what I've talked about is why do ghouls fall in love? Because I can't tell genuinely within that movie if everything that she did was because she was like being affected by Valentine's spell, or if there was like genuine emotional cheating on her part at some point before the spell took place. And that makes it very hard for me to know how to feel about her because, like, I'm not into emotional cheating. If she was actually doing that, I'm not here for it, but I can't tell. And then on the other hand, you have what was the one? Oh my gosh. Fright's Camera Action. I couldn't think of the name for a second. I loved her in Fright's Camera Action. I thought she was a great character in that movie. So it's like, it's so hard for me to tell how to feel about her because I just feel like in some of the media, Draculaura is potentially like not the best person and at the very least like sometimes a little bit annoying, but in other parts of the media I feel like she is really good at like standing up for other people and caring about others and putting their needs first and just being like a very stand up friend. I know, Reese. It's a lot to think about. So I think I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna go with like the best version of Draculaura, in which case she's gonna go into love them. Next up, we have Frankie, and y'all already know how I feel about Gen One Frankie. Okay, I can't fully explain it. Like I can kind of explain it, and I've been thinking about making a video on why I dislike G1 Frankie so much. I just really don't like her. Like that's the end all be all of it. There has never been a moment that I can recall where I have seen Frankie on screen and I've been like, wow, this is wonderful. This definitely wouldn't be better if literally any other character were doing this. Like, I just don't like her. And I'm sorry, because I know that a lot of people like G1 Frankie. Personally, I like G3 Frankie. I think they're super chill and I like them a lot more as like an iteration of this character. But G1, I know she's popular. It's fine if y'all like her. Like, if that makes you happy, that's chill. However, for me, low-key hate them. Ghoulia, this one's hard. This one's actually really hard because I've always said that I don't like Ghoulia specifically like for sort of aesthetic reasons. I don't do zombies very well. I don't know why. Like other monsters, it's chill. I can handle it. But zombies specifically just freak me out so aggressively. So my brain immediately is like, Ghoulia's a zombie. No, no, no. Like it's, I just can't do it. But I'm supposed to be not thinking about the aesthetics. So if I try really hard to remove the fact that she is a zombie, like if I'm trying just to think about her as a character, unfortunately, I do feel like she is one of those characters that is a bit one note. Maybe partially because like the audience can't actually understand what she's saying. Like, cause she speaks zombie most of the time, and like the other character, well, she speaks zombie all of the time. I don't know why I said most of the time. The other characters can understand her, but it's not even like we get subtitles as the audience or something to kind of understand her. So maybe she has a lot of other character traits that I just didn't get because I don't have a literal translation of what she's saying, if that makes sense. She's very smart. She seems kind of witty and funny at sometimes. But as weird as this sounds for what is technically a main character, I think I'm going to put her into barely present. And I feel like that's going to be controversial. I am sorry to all of the Ghoulia fans out there. But like, I feel like I don't know her. Like, I feel like I didn't get to know her as a character, realistically speaking. I hope that makes sense. Next up, we have Laguna, who does kind of flip flop in a lot of the movies. I feel like she is kind of like Abby, where she is like the only one who is using her brain cell. Like, especially some of the earlier Monster High movies, I feel like everyone is just making the worst possible decision in every scenario. And it drove me crazy. I couldn't handle it. Laguna, I feel like, tended to make better decisions, but with some of the later films, especially Great Scary Reef, I really wish I hadn't seen that. Like, what is she doing? I don't know. I want to like her. I think I'm gonna put her in there chill because I think most of the time she's good, but like some of her actions did scar me a bit. Avea. Every time I see this name, I want to pronounce it Avea, which I'm adding so many extra letters for no reason. Avea Trotter. I'm gonna go with that pronunciation. I don't know. It's fine. I didn't finish Freaky Fusion. I simply could not make myself go through with that. So I didn't really get to see like the main movie that she's a part of. I did watch about 30, 40 minutes of it. And what I remember is just thinking that she seemed really, really mean. Maybe that's not true. So to be charitable, I'm going to put her in barely present because quite literally, at least within the media that I consumed, she was barely present. Okay, Benita, same sort of situation. Love her design, but we're not thinking about that right now. So she has to go into barely present because like I genuinely couldn't even tell you one line that she spoke in any of the movies. Again, that I like managed to get through. This auto-corrected and I didn't notice. So Catherine, just kidding, Katrine Demille. I still have a bone to pick with Scaris for this. Like, I did really like Scaris. I think it was one of the better Monster High movies. However, how are you going to have Katrine be a whole character and like get a whole doll and not have a line in the movie? Like, she's just not actually in the movie whatsoever. Again, I literally have to put her into barely present because she wasn't present. Then we have Caddy, who finally is a character that was present. I feel like we had a couple right in a row there. Caddy, like, basically has a whole movie. Boo York is a lot about her. Obviously, like, it's a lot about other characters like Cleo, too. But Boo York is a lot about Caddy. I don't really know how to feel about her. I don't think that I have any negative feelings towards her. Like, she's just a gal going through it, like, trying to make the most of stuff, which is fine. But, like, that's all I have. Like, I don't have anything against her. I don't have any qualms with this character. But like I've said with a few others, I just didn't really feel connected. So I think I'm going to put her in there too. You know, it is very fitting to me that Claude and Draculaura are together because just like I couldn't get like a read on Draculaura, really, I cannot get a read on Claude. In Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love, I thought he was like the best boyfriend ever. He was so kind and understanding and like doing his genuine best to be a good person in the relationship with Draculaura. I feel like he's a good person when it comes to his friends and his sister. However, in I always want to call it Skulltimate Roller Maze, but it's Friday Night Frights, I think is the actual name of the movie. I think in like the doll line names, not the movie names. He was like not chill at all, which was so weirdly out of character for him to me, like based on what we had seen before, because he was so much more misogynistic, so much ruder towards any of the girls for them being girls. Like dang girl, that was a loud one. He really just was like not a great guy in that movie. So again, it's like hard to know where to put him. But just like Draculaura, I feel like I have to go with the best version of Claude that we saw. In which case, I think I'm gonna put him in Love Them too. Because like he genuinely in Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love was like the best, most wholesome guy. Girly, it's okay. You're all right. You're getting love and attention. You're vibing. Then we have Gigi. I don't know how to feel about Gigi. Like, she literally had a whole ass movie. And I still feel like she wasn't very strongly characterized, which is so interesting because, like, as I'm doing this, I'm kind of realizing that that's low-key a problem that Monster High has. And I did complain in several of my media reviews about the fact that because there's so many characters, it's hard to, like, delve into them very much. But, like, even Gigi, a character who literally had a whole movie in which she was the main focus, I just feel like I didn't get that much from her. Like, during 13 Wishes, I got it this time. It's the same as the doll line. I don't know why I couldn't think about it. But during 13 Wishes, she wants to do the right thing. Like, she wants to try to warn people and, like, try to warn the users of the lamp not to give in to Wisp's temptations. And, like, she's trying to do the right thing, which is chill. She's kind of timid. And also, listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but she has been in that lamp for so long. And it took her ages to try to, like, figure out a loophole and to figure out that she could maybe talk to other people that weren't the user and like get something going. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of silly and weird. I just don't feel like I got a lot about her. Like all I know is that she has a overall good heart, but like that's not that hard to have, you know, like wanting to not let the world be destroyed is a really, really low bar to clear in terms of like good person, in terms of like qualifying as a good person. So I feel like that isn't much. And aside from that, I genuinely don't know much about her. So had a whole movie, barely present. I thought my cat was on my shelf for a second. Gil. Ooh, this one's a spicy one. I have like hinted at this and I promise I am going to make a video on Gil at some point. I want to do it soon. It's just like every time that I think I'm going to do it, something comes up. Gil is a very, very divisive character. I feel like some people like him. Some people are like, he is the worst. He's a terrible boyfriend. I have reasons for this. I just don't want to get into all of them now because it literally is a whole video's worth of reasons. Like I could talk for 20, 30 minutes about my thoughts on Gil. He is not always the best person. Like that's fair. He does not always do the absolute best thing in any given situation, but I also don't think that he's like the demon that some people make him out to be. I just simply don't. I'm going to put him in there too, which I know is controversial, but I just genuinely don't think he's as bad a person as some people think. And again, if you disagree, that's fine. You are absolutely allowed to go hate Gil. It's fun to hate characters sometimes. But me, I just can't. Next up, we are on Heath. And again, like, I just don't quite know how to feel about him because he has some moments where I feel like he is really helpful or like kind of bumbling and sweet, almost like a himbo towards Abby, which is really, really cute to see. He has other moments where he is violently misogynistic, and I'm not messing with that, but like, that's not all of the time. So should I be nice to him with like Claude? But like, that isn't all the time. So I could be charitable towards him like I was with Claude. However, I do feel like Heath was consistently misogynistic throughout all of the movies. It was honestly really irritating and kind of one of those things where he just never got any permanent character growth because I feel like every movie it was a cycle where he started off high girly pop, not being great, and then by the end of the movie he was like a lot more chill. And then by the next movie he would have reset and he was not acting great again. So it's a little bit harder to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt the same way I did to Claude because Claude only had one movie realistically where I thought he was actively being a like rude person. Whereas Heath has that in every movie, but also in every movie I feel like he did kind of learn his lesson and like come around towards the end. So I guess I could just go with like Endgame Heath. I know, baby. I do like the role that he plays in the sense that I think within the dynamic of him and Abby, he's kind of, what's the right word for it? Like she tends to be more strong and bold, and even though I think that like labeling traits like that as feminine or masculine is completely redundant, traditionally speaking those are things that are seen as like more masculine traits, and that's what Abby has, whereas Heath is kind of the one like Abby will like catch him when he falls, and like Heath is the one who's portraying more stereotypically feminine traits within that relationship dynamic. And again, I don't buy into the stereotypes. I don't like that. But because those are the stereotypes, I do think it's kind of nice that he gets to represent the opposite of that and like show that he's still a guy, he's still like vibing, he's still having a good time, and he can be in this relationship or like have these feelings for this girl and like have this kind of, I don't know, I honest to God don't even know if they ever officially got together, but like in my head they did. So I think it's cool that he can be that for the audience and he can be like a slightly less stereotypically masculine person and still be like a fun character who has all the things that like someone might want in terms of like a friend and a relationship and that sort of thing. But then also he's just not, he's a hard one. I'm going to put him in there chill. That was a lot of debating for absolutely no reason. I don't think yeah, I'm on the wrong layer. I don't know why I had to talk so long about Heath. I don't even know if I'll put all that in the video, but I did that. Okay, Holt. I feel like Holt and Jackson are both going to be kind of controversial, so I'm sorry in advance. I didn't like Holt. I thought he was unbelievably irritating. Like, I understand he's the party guy, like he's the fun one out of the duality. It was just to such an extreme, and like, maybe that's fun for some people, but for me, absolutely not. Like, he was so loud and bouncing off the walls, and like, I get like that sometimes. Not gonna lie, like I get like hyped about stuff sometimes. I get really excited, and I feel like I kind of can act like that. However, I don't know. It was just he was kind of one note and kind of too much for me anytime he was on screen. I just didn't like him, so I'm gonna put him in no because I didn't hate him as much as I hated Frankie. Now Jackson, another disappointment because I didn't like him either. He and Holt are two sides of the same coin, which is very intentional. So like I guess that was good characterization in a way. But they both annoy me on equal levels for opposite reasons. Like Holt is just too much and it's frustrating. Jackson is just like pitiful and it irritates me. I can't explain why. I am sorry. He's going to go no as well. This is my man. I was waiting for this one. I should have saved this one for last, honestly. This is my man. I have ranted about Hoodoo before. He literally deserves, I'm going to like cry. He literally deserves the entire world. I love this character so much. Like, he just has this tragic story of being created specifically to love Frankie and then being immediately tossed away. And all he wants is love. Like, that's it. He just wants to be loved and to love others. And I think it is so cute. And he's just like, kind of like Heath in the sense that he's kind of accident prone and like it hurts other people because he's a voodoo doll. I just think he's so precious and wholesome and deserves the absolute world. He, as far as like not taking design into account, he was my favorite character from the Monster High media. I don't know why. I don't get to make the decisions. My brain just went, that one. I like that one. He's adorable and I wish him the best, and he's going into my favorite. Okay, Howleen. All of the other characters that I feel like have been represented differently in different movies, I've been trying to go with the best version of that character, and I simply cannot go with that philosophy for Howleen. I am so sorry. I feel like she was a relatively kind of honestly whatever character up until 13 Wishes. She's younger than Claudine, so like she does make some mistakes, but I feel like that is explained and somewhat justified by her age. Like she's growing, she's learning. They all are, like they're all high schoolers, so there's that. But Howleen's even younger, right? So I feel like there's a little bit more leeway there. However, in 13 Wishes, when she was just absolutely down to make her sister disappear, like poof, doesn't matter, low-key murdered, who knows? Like she literally didn't even know if her sister would be alive anymore, and she was just like, yeah, that's super chill. That was wild behavior. And I have siblings. I know that sometimes you just don't want them to be around. Like sometimes you really are not a fan of your sibling. But she went too far to me, and it's really hard for me to forget about that. And frankly, I think she was forgiven too easily because, like, 13 Wishes, I know she was under Wisp's influence for some of it and became, like, Dark Howleen. Not all of it, okay? Like, and honestly, arguably not for the worst of it. If I'm recalling correctly, she didn't become Dark Howleen until after she wished Claudine would disappear. So, like, she did that with basically her full faculties, and that is crazy behavior. I just can't get behind that. And then everyone's like, oh, it's okay, girly pop. Like you did the right thing in the end. No, we need to talk about this. That's not all right. I don't know about that. Anyway, she's going to go, no. And I'm sorry, but like, I know I'm not following the same rules for every character. I just simply cannot get behind Howleen. Jane Doolittle, I don't remember her honestly in any of the movies. She was in the webisodes like right before I stopped watching the webisodes, and she was shy, and that was all that I can remember. I'm gonna put her in Barely Present because like she was. Gina Fire. Funny because I feel like she was also technically barely present in the sense that we didn't get to see the most of her in these movies. But I feel like I got a better sense of her personality than some of the other characters, like literally even more than Gigi's, which is crazy for me to say. I don't even think she had that many speaking lines. I just think that like something about the way her actions were animated and the speaking lines that she did have, I feel like portrayed her to be this like strong, kind of sassy, smart character. I'm going to put her in there too. I can't really justify it. I don't know. But I liked her a little more. Manny's a rough one. Okay. Many of the like side guys are portrayed as being, as I've mentioned with like Heath, misogynistic at some points and kind of just like not super chill. But I feel like Manny is kind of the worst of them because not only is he like that where he'll like laugh at girls or like think being effeminate is a bad thing, but also he's actively a bully, like physically a bully. I just can't get behind that. He's gonna go no, which is crazy of me to say that he gets to be ranked above Frankie. He sometimes gets to learn some lessons, like sometimes he has somewhat better behavior. I think with Manny, my thing is that I don't like him on principle because I just don't feel like he's characterized as being a great person. Frankie, I just hate. Like I said, low-key hate. I high-key just hate G1 Frankie. I'm so sorry. The Werecat twins, I honestly could have not included in this video. They're going in Barely Present. I don't really think I need to explain why. Nathan. I don't know why I dislike Nathan. Like, I didn't finish Freaky Fusion. I don't remember him being really in anything else. If he was, it didn't stick in my little brain. But the few lines that he did give and that I did see in Freaky Fusion, like the little bit that I got from him was very much like nice guy-ish. Just to me, again, like if you read that differently, that's fine. But for me, he honestly seemed kind of like a boy who's like trying to be like, oh, I'm kind of like shy and misunderstood and like I'm just a nice guy. I don't understand. Like that man, I look at him and I'm so sorry. After seeing the little bit of Freaky Fusion that I did see, I just see danger. I'm like, this boy is not going to treat you right. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Reese, can I please have my hand back so I can do this? You can't hear her, but she is purring. You can hear her scream. Anyway, though, yeah, he's going to no, no, he's going to Loki hate them. Like people ship him to Frankie, so I guess that tracks. Oh my God, there are still. I have got to hurry up. There are so many left. Operetta, I really like want to like Reese. I actually cannot pay attention right now. I have got to focus on this. I wanted to like her. I feel like she does cool things sometimes, but something about her I just couldn't bond with. And like, frankly, something about her rubbed me the wrong way. I don't have any actual evidence for that. That's just a feeling for me personally. So she's going, no. Rebecca, she was kind of a vibe. Like, she doesn't come to mind when I think of the characters that I liked the most. Like, I don't immediately think of her. But now that now that I'm like faced with the image and I'm like, okay, what was she like in the movies? She was pretty chill. Like, I feel like she was helpful. She was kind. I liked her. So she's going in there too. Rochelle, I feel like Rochelle was really sweet. Like, she had a pretty big role in both Friday Night Frights and then also Scaris. And in both of those, I feel like I would get along with her. I can't explain why. Just the vibes are excellent for Rochelle. She's going and love them. Scara, another one that I don't know why I like put on here, barely present, which is sad because like the little bits that we did get, I think I would be interested to see more of her. She seems like a pretty strong character, but yeah, no. Cyrena, oh my gosh, Cyrena was rough for me, which sucks so hard because I love that doll so much. I think her design is absolutely beautiful. Like one of my top designs. I think when I did my top 10 G1 dolls, she was number 2. Like I love that doll's design. However, she was so annoying. Like the the sound, it's like that irritating, grating voice. That's how I feel about her. I just every second she was on screen, she was driving me absolutely crazy. Which is even wilder because of how little she was on screen. Like she was in Freaky Fusion, she was in Haunted, and I just could not handle it. I do think that's like because of my like particular personality. Like Cyrena is very kind of airheaded and forgetful, and that's like fine. Like that's not inherently a bad trait. And to be fair, she is also less present than a lot of other characters, and so therefore she is pretty one note. So I'm not trying to say that anyone who is like forgetful or a little bit more airheaded, like has trouble paying attention or like daydreams a lot. Like I'm not trying to say that anyone like that is a bad person. And especially, I think that's really important for me to say because I don't know if it's canonical. I genuinely can't remember. But I know that a lot of people see Cyrena and are like, oh, that kind of reminds me of like how I feel with like ADHD. And so I feel like she's kind of, again, I'm not sure if it's canonical, but at least like within the fanon of Monster High, she's seen as like an ADHD representation. And that's fantastic. I'm not trying to knock anyone with ADHD. My husband has ADHD and I clearly love him very much. A lot of like the friends that I have ADHD. But because Cyrena is so one note, it's not, oh, this is a person who's sometimes kind of forgetful or has trouble paying attention, but like they do this, 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 and this also. Like they're also strong and sweet and like whatever. She's just that. And so because it's just that for me personally, it does not hit because I'm the kind of person who is like very organized, absolutely despises being like late. Like I constantly am thinking of 72 different things and like reminding other people about things so that they don't forget. Like that's just kind of how I am. And so Cyrena is like the antithesis of that. And it drove me crazy again. Like I cannot say this enough simply because that's her only personality trait. I'm sure that if Cyrena got more characterization and got to be other things besides just that, I would have liked her more. But singled down to that one character trait, it was terrible. And so I'm gonna put her in Loki hate them, which hurts my heart, but here I am. Okay, Skeletor, how do I feel about you as a character? I feel like she was present just as much or as little, I guess you could say, as Gina Fire. Like they both really mainly were in Scaris. I do think Gina Fire had a little bit more of a presence in other movies. But the parts that we did see of Skeleta, I feel like I liked her. I feel like she was fun, so I'm gonna bump her into their chill. Slow-mo, couldn't tell you anything about him. Barely present. He essentially functioned like as a love interest for Gulia, and that was it. So Spectra, she had a lot of growth over the series, which I really appreciate because it's not something that we saw in a lot of characters. Like a lot of characters within Monster High are very stagnant, which I understand for kids media is like a relatively common thing. Like you don't always see a lot of character growth and character change with kids media. However, I like to see it because I'm 27 years old. With Spectra specifically, up until Haunted, she very much to me was like not a super person. Like she was just extremely gossipy, all up in people's business without them even knowing, just kind of printed whatever she heard. And to me, that was like, that's not very trustworthy. That's not very kind. Like I don't value those traits necessarily, at least the way that she like executed those personality traits. But in Haunted, we actually did get to see her kind of take accountability and be like, oh, yeah, the way that I've been treating people and the way that I've just been printing gossip willy nilly is not okay. And like, that's not good journalism. And that's not what I should be doing to people that I consider friends. And I loved seeing that growth. And then within Haunted, as she's realizing that, the fact that she is like trying so hard to make things better for other people and to use her journalistic capabilities for good purposes. I loved that. I thought that that was really, really amazing growth. I don't feel like I can put her up to my favorite just because no, not quite. But I am going to split the tiers and I'm going to put her in between Love Them and my favorite because I feel like she got more character growth than most other characters, which was amazing to see. I just don't know if she's all the way up there. Okay. Toralei, this one's hard because honestly, I don't think that she had much characterization. She, to me, was more of like a plot device than an actual character. She was in a lot of movies that she didn't need to be in whatsoever. She kind of was like a tag along villain to a lot of the main villains without them knowing sometimes. Like she was just kind of there and she didn't need to be. She was antagonistic all the time. And I just don't understand. Like if we had seen more of her actual personality or if she had gotten more character growth, like I know she got a little bit, like she kind of got slightly nicer in some of the movies, but I feel like we didn't really get to explore her the way that she could have been explored. And like she could have been an incredibly fascinating character to have more stories like surrounding her. But because she needed to fill the role constantly as like a minor villain for the main cast, she never got to grow, really, never got to have any like intense plot focus put on her or like any delving into why she is the way she is. Like she just didn't get what she deserved. So I have to put her in no, which really sucks because I think she had the potential if she was a character that was treated well within the writing process. She could have been my favorite, but she just wasn't given that. So Twyla was really chill, and I did not expect that. Like, I just honestly hadn't thought about her much as a character up until I started watching the movies. Because, like, I never loved her G1 dolls, so I just didn't really think about her that much, if I'm being honest. But I thought that she was honestly a very relatable character. Like, she's kind of quiet, more towards the shadows, but she's very, like, smart. And I think she's strong in the ways that matter. Like, she's very steadfast. And I really appreciated that about her. She's going up into Love Them. Venus, not present. Like, really, genuinely, aside from the fact that she cares about the planet, I could not tell you a single thing about this character, which, wild. But there we are. Astronova, also barely present. I talked about this in my Boo York review. I sadly don't think that she needed to be a character that existed whatsoever. Like, she didn't have to be at all. Which, like, sucks. You know, like, I feel like making a character and designing a character, it's sad for me to be able to say that she didn't need to be made. I wish that if she was going to be present in the movie, she had some more happening in the movie other than just like showing up at the end, like, surprise, that comment was like my spaceship, let's party. There's nothing to her. So she's going in barely present. I feel bad about it because, like, I feel like, frankly, the time writing her and animating her and everything could have been spent elsewhere. And I don't like saying that, but here we are. Wedona, another barely present one. That's all I have to say. Wisp is an interesting one. Because, like, she is a villain, but I tend to like villains. I honestly just think that a lot of time villains are written with like more interesting storylines than heroes sometimes. Or I don't know, the struggles that villain characters tend to go through are ones that I think are more interesting. I'm not sure what it is, but I tend to like villains across all media. Like, they're just interesting to me. So I do like Wisp in that sense. I kind of see where she's coming from, where she's just like trapped, doesn't really feel like she is an equal within that realm. I feel weird putting her in a tier labeled "they're chill" though, because she is categorically unchill. But like as a villain, I think she was a good villain, so I'm gonna put her in "they're chill." Like I'm not saying her actions are good, which oh my god, okay, I'm sorry, I have to go on this tangent just because this is driving me crazy and I just cannot take it. In a lot of fandom spaces, I feel like people are losing the capability to think critically in terms of like, they will assume if you like a villain character, you are condoning their actions or you think their actions are good or morally correct. That is not it. Like I'm saying, like with Wisp in this example, I'm sorry. I just like this bothers me so bad, and I talk about it constantly to people around me, and now I have to talk about it with you guys. I'm not saying Wisp did good things, but I am saying that she was a well-written character within the scope of Monster High. Like she wasn't the most well-written villain of all time, but like within the scope of Monster High, she was a well-written villain. And I just said I tend to like villains because I think that they are well-written and interesting. That does not mean that I want to go out and like kill people. Oh my god. It just means that I think that they have an interesting story. I might edit that out. That was a tangent that didn't need to be there at all. I'm so sick of hearing that online where it's like, oh my god, you like a villain, like you're a bad person. No, I don't condone their actions. I just think they have an interesting backstory and I kind of feel bad for them. I don't know. Anyway, I have to focus. Okay, Elle. Essentially not in much of any movie. She's only in New York. She doesn't have that much characterization. However, I inexplicably liked her. She seemed so fun, and she's going in there chill. These long videos really get me. Like, I feel like I start out really normal. And then the longer that I'm filming, because, like, I'm talking to you, and, like, I will engage with you, obviously, once this video goes up, and then I'm having a real conversation. But right now, I'm just in my basement talking to a camera. And so my little thoughts are just bouncing around. I've got to stop talking. Dear God. Garrett, I don't know why he's drawn like this. Like this just doesn't feel quite like the Monster High art style, but here we are. Unnecessary comment yet again. He was chill. I feel like, doesn't have too much of a presence because, like, the movie that he's in, Scaris, he's just a prisoner for most of the time. So I kind of want to put him in there chill because I did like what we did get to see, but I feel like at heart I have to put him in barely present. You know what? No, I'm immediately changing my mind because he was writing love letters to Rochelle and that was really cute. He's going in there chill. Honey Swamp, another one that like she wasn't in that much, but I just loved her so much. I think it helps that she was in Frights Camera Action. I forgot that name again. But I liked that movie. Like I thought that was one of the better Monster High movies. So I think that does help because the little screen time that she had was like screen time that I was enjoying. She's going in there chill. Paula was terrible. Genuinely just so unbelievably mean. Like I just went on this whole tirade about villains. I can't go back into that pit. I can't get back. I can't get sucked back into that hole of talking about it. Kala is a villain who I think has a reason to be upset with society in the sense that, like, she feels like she can't tell people who her dad is because they will inherently hate her and they hate her father even though they don't know him. Like, I think she has a reason to act like a bad person and like a reason to be a villain. However, I don't think that, honestly, this is going to sound bonkers. I don't think she took it far enough. Like, I think if you're going to have a villain like Kala, who feels inherently from birth ostracized from society, who feels like everyone will hate her simply because of who she is, who has a hard time like connecting with people or relating to people because she has to keep this deep dark secret. Like, I feel like she should have been doing a lot more than just like being kind of rude in a dance competition. You know, like I feel like she's got this really intense backstory that it's understandable, or like I can see how like she got from point A to point B to point C to whatever. I can see how she would become a villain. Like I can see how she would go down that dark path, right? But the dark path just leading to like kind of being a neighborhood bully, like come on. Like I just feel like her backstory is so much more intense than her actual actions that it makes her just seem silly instead of making her seem like a real threat or like an interesting character. I have so many thoughts. Oh, this is too many thoughts. Anyway, she's going in no, because I think she had a ton of potential. I think she should have been a much bigger baddie than she was. Like I think she should have been a threat, not just like, oh, I hate Laguna because Laguna has a family. I think she should have been a threat like to the whole ocean. And like Laguna needed to come because she was the only one who had ever had like some sort of connection with Kala, and Laguna had to be the one to talk her down. I think that would have been a way better story than we actually got with Great Scary Reef. Because frankly, like I just feel like that really intense, interesting backstory, it wasn't utilized. It wasn't utilized well at all. She was just like, Laguna has a dad. I'm upset. Like, so dumb. Anyway, we're on to Valentine. Valentine is hard because if you just look at him canonically in terms of like what is quite literally shown on screen, he's just an asshole. That's it. However, I haven't read like the whole comic, but I know that within like the fandom, it was theorized that the reason he is like that is because he was like a closeted gay person. He couldn't accept himself. Again, I know that there's like a whole thing out now with him and Spelden and like it's confirmed and everything. I haven't read it. So like, I'm sorry if I get some of the details wrong there, but that makes it difficult because that technically is canon now, right? Like that's a thing where it's like, oh yeah, he did these terrible things because he was like experiencing this internal struggle. And again, I love me a villain. So like I kind of vibe with that. And also he's gay representation, which like kudos for him. And like the little bits and pieces of the comic that I have seen on Instagram, I think they look cute together. So I feel like I like him more than I should. I don't know. I'm going to put him in there, chill. Oh well. Yes, he's a villain, but like at least he was interesting. Kiyomi, so cute for absolutely no reason. That's really it. I think a lot of why I like her, if I'm being 100% frank, is that I think her and Draculaura is a very cute, like fiction only, slightly non-healthy ship. Because Kiyomi is low key stalking her, which is weird in real life, but like I kind of eat that up in fiction. So does it make sense? No, but I'm gonna put her all the way up and love them, even though she wasn't present in any of the movies aside from Haunted. Something about Hi Baby ranking these characters on their character traits, I feel like is making me come across as utterly unhinged, which like fair, but it's kind of funny. All right, Luna. Luna was chill, but like didn't honestly need to be a character. Kind of like Astronova. I'm so sorry. Barely present. Mousades. I still don't know how to say her name. Same thing though. Like she had a role technically within Boo York, but that very easily could have been filled by literally anybody else. So barely present. Perry and Pearl are kind of just Kala's sidekicks. I can't remember which one is which. One of them does like have a change of heart and wants to be like a better person, but I don't know. There's just not a lot happening there. Barely present. Porter Geist was a fun character. I loved Haunted. Okay, if you can't tell from how high I'm ranking the characters that like had a lot of screen time in Haunted, I loved Haunted. I thought that was a good one. Porter Geist, I think, is just such a fun character. You get to see him go from like kind of this not quite bad boy archetype. I wouldn't go that far. Like he's not checking all those boxes, but kind of like a rebellious sort of guy where he's just like doing his thing. But then you find out that he has like a better reason for it. Like he actually isn't just like, oh, I'm making art for the sake of being graffiti because it's bad. It's like he's trying to get a point across. He's trying to do something kind of similar, I wonder why, to Spectra with her journalism. I feel like him growing and sacrificing himself for mainly Spectra, but like the other characters from Monster High was really sick to see. He's going and love them. Reese, do you agree? Meow if you think Porter should go and love them. She doesn't care at all. Posey. Posey was weird, which also, she's another one where I always want to say Posea. Where am I getting those extra syllables from? Great Scary Reef was poorly written. Basically, that's it. Like, I don't necessarily think she's a terrible character, but I didn't understand her role. Yeah, she's going in barely present. River, I wanted to like River so much because I love her doll. Kind of a similar situation as Cyrena. However, I don't feel quite as antagonistic towards River just because she didn't do literally anything. She was like kind of silly. She's like, oh, I've got my party cannons. That's it. That's literally all she had. So she's inherently going in barely present, which I'm running out of room. How many more do we Okay, okay, I can do this. I got this. Seth. Oh my God, I'm so butthurt that Seth did not get a doll. First of all, his design is so fun. He deserved a doll based off of that alone. Like, they made a whole Katrine doll. She didn't have any speaking in Scaris, whereas, like, Boo York, Seth was a major character. He had a great design, didn't get a doll. I'm so mad. But yeah, okay, for the purposes of this video, he was such an interesting character. Like, I think exploring that concept of his parents, like, want him to do something, and like he's being forced into this lifestyle that he doesn't really agree with, and he has like the secret passion. It's very fun. It's very fun and exciting. I loved that. I love him. Like, that was just a good hi baby. Hi boo boo. You want to be on camera? I told you it might happen. Anyway, though, yeah, I think Seth was really well written and interesting. Vandala, I liked her as a doll. Frankly, Haunted made me like her a lot less. I thought the idea of a ghost pirate was very fascinating, but within the movie, kind of like River, like she just didn't really play an actual major role, and frankly was a little irritating. I'm gonna put her all the way down to no, because I just didn't vibe with that. Viperine, not a character who gets the most screen time. Inexplicably, I love her. I couldn't for the life of me tell you why. She's gonna go in there chill, because if I don't have a reason, I feel like I can't put her in love them. Reese, you are really genuinely hogging the attention here. You have her all over you, and your meows are probably very loud in the microphone, baby. You're extremely cute. Anyway, I feel like I can't put her in love them because I don't have a concrete reason for why I like Viperine. So yeah, their chill seems fair enough. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, Cupid, sorry, Reese. Reese. You're getting like purring ASMR. Cupid left Monster High very early on, so like barely present is kind of the only tier that I feel like I can put her in. Costa, again, literally barely present. There is, oh no, there's fur on the top of my camera, and I'm really hoping it's not also on the lens. That's gonna be big awkward. Claudia, really only present in Fright's camera action. However, I did like her role in Fright's camera action. So, oh, careful, baby. She's gonna go into their chill. I felt like she was like a fun character to introduce in that movie. Elizabeth, I've got fur all over me now. I desperately need to brush you, kitty cat. You cannot rub on the microphone, baby. I have to get through my video. Sweet baby. I know. I actually want to do a video with my cats soon. See if you can guess in the comments what it's going to be about. So you'll get your time to shine then, baby girl. But if you can't be chill, I'm going to have to get you off the desk. Okay? You got to be chill. Anyway, Elizabeth. Very major player within Fright's camera action. I don't know why for the life of me I can't keep that name in my little head. I don't know how I liked her though. Like, she's an actress. She's wanting to chase her own dreams. I feel like cowardly is not the right word, like at all. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. She's a bit more hesitant. Like, I feel like Draculaura finds out that she's not actually the next vampire queen and is like, oh, okay, I need to find her immediately. Like, I need to do what's right for vampire kind and monster kind as a whole. Like, I need to find this person and I need to get this solved. Whereas Elizabeth is like, I'm going to go hide. And that's fine. Like, that's a reasonable reaction. Like, that's a lot of responsibility. I understand, like, being nervous, and I probably would also not be like Draculaura in that circumstance, right? Reese, please, you're slapping the mic with your little tail. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. So, like, I understand Elizabeth. I don't think I like her as much, but I think I'm going to put her in there, chill. Because I think, like, for the immense amount of responsibility that she has thrust upon her, she could have been worse, right? And then lastly, we have got Nephra Denial, who, like, is honestly just the epitome of, like, the person who peaked in high school and can't let that go. Like, she's a whole adult. She is graduated from Monster High, which, by the way, another tangent that I don't need to be going on. How do you graduate from Monster High? Because, like, people like Frankie are only a few weeks or months or whatever old at any given point in time. And they're just going along at the same rate, I guess, as people like Cleo, who has been her age for forever. And like Dracula's 16. Like, at what point do you age out of Monster High? Like, how do you actually graduate? That's besides the point. Anyway, Nephra's graduated, but like, presumably she has a job. Is she a model? Is that it? I think she has a job, but mostly she just like hangs around with her dad and like tortures her little sister. That's it. Like that's the whole thing. I don't know. Kind of pathetic. Not a vibe. We're going with no, which is the end. I know, VC, it's over. It's over. But yeah, okay, no, I can't actually leave that pencil there. She will. She will take it. But yes, guys, that is the end of the ranking. Most characters and barely present, which I think could have been predicted just because Monster High really has such a huge cast. I mean, I didn't even actually include all of them in this video, that it's impossible with the amount of media that they produced and the way that they chose to execute said media that every character would actually like have their time to shine. That being said, the ones that did have their chance, I have more of them in the top tiers than in the bottom tiers, I think. So like, I'll take I feel like this is a relatively positive review. You're being so cute, baby. You're so cute and distracting little kitten. I love you. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's my ranking, basically. Hardly any get to go to my favorite, because honestly, I loved Hoodoo from the moment I saw him in the webisodes, which was the first bit of Monster High media that I saw. And so from that moment, that was where, like, the bar was, and no one else could make it. Like, Abby almost got there, but Hoodoo is better still. So I think that doesn't help that, like, I was introduced to his character so early, and I liked his character so early, so everyone else had, like, such a high standard to hit. But I do think Monster High does have some pretty solid characters. But yes, guys, that is the end of the video. Finally, I have been filming for so long. So sorry if this is going to be a long one. Does not help that you are being adorable and distracting, does it? What little baby. I love my cats so much. Like, I am very concerned that this might be irritating for you guys. Let me know. Maybe I'll do a poll on like Instagram and on the community tab. But I low-key like having her here with me when I film. She's my little baby. I wish my other cat could come too, but she is not agile enough to get into the basement. She can't make it. It's like a jump that she has to get through and she can't do it. And also she's significantly more destructive than Reese is. So it's probably a good thing that she's not down here. Anyway, that's another tangent. I'm on Tangent Central today. That's the video. I would love to hear in the comments who your guys' favorite character is, like strictly character-wise, not design-wise, and who your least favorite character is. Like, I'm just curious to see how my thoughts kind of differ from yours, because that's something that I love so much about media and I find so interesting about media is specifically which characters people like, because like there are so many characters and everyone thinks different things about them, and I just think it's so fun and interesting to discuss characters with other people who like have different thoughts. Sorry, I'm kind of a nerd. That's just something that I really get into. So please indulge me in the comments. But despite the length of the video, I hope you guys were able to enjoy. And I'm going to shut up now and let you get on with your day. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.